of C++. So this week we learn about namespaces in C++, understand compilation program structure, understand using of header files, and then about exceptions. So namespace is a feature that provides a way to group with related identifiers such as variables. Okay. So in essence, a namespace defines a scope. It begins with a keyword namespace followed by the namespace name structure. So namespace, as the example describes. Define a namespace code programming. So namespace programming is before the function. Then you see how the programming namespace in the line behind the code. That is an example of it, which we are going to do. So we have to access the name of members of namespace using what scope resolution operator. As the example shows. So namespace using what directive. This directive tells the compiler that the subsequent code is making use of names in the specified namespace. So as an example, namespace what using what directive. Now what types of namespace? You have indoors namespace, inline namespace, anonymous namespace, and global namespace. So a namespace that are part of C++ library, which contains most of the built-in functions, objects, and classes. They also avoid conflicts between user-defined and library-defined functions or variables. We have inbuilt std namespaces. We have inbuilt namespaces. We see examples below. We have inline namespaces, and namespaces where its members are accessible directly without using the namespace name. We have anonymous namespaces, a namespace that does not have what a name called anonymous namespace. And it ensures that the entities in an unnamed namespace are limited to that file. This is an example of the namespace code. So we go to exception with handling. Exception handling is based on keeping the normal functionality of the program separate from what error handling. The basic idea is that errors occurring in one particular part of the program are reported to another part of the program known as what the calling environment. Calling environment performs central error handling. The part of the program that performs central error handling in the calling environment is referred to as what an exception handler. Okay, we have a component of exception handling. There are two parts for implementing exception handling. The part of the program that can allow through exceptions. The exceptions handlers that will process various exception types. Now, try and catch what blocks. C++ an inbuilt feature for handling exceptions using a try and catch block. It's an exception handling mechanism where the code that may cause an exception is placed inside the try block, and the code that handles the exception is placed inside the catch block. Now this is a try and catch block, an example of the try and catch block. So train exceptions. Train exception means returning some kind of value that represents the exception from the try block. The matching catch block is found using the type of the true value. The throw keyword is used to throw the exception. And this is an example. That's example of a train exception syntax. So use a try, true val, close the brackets, you catch exception type E, then close the brackets. This is how do you call it? A comment. Okay, then we have throwing exception types. There are three types of values that can be thrown as an exception. That's a built-in type, you have the standard exceptions, you have the custom exceptions. So this is an example of throwing built-in types code. Now we have benefit of exception handling. We have separation of error handling code from normal code. Functions or methods can handle only the exceptions we're choosing. We also have grouping of error types. Now we have the separate compilation. A function definition is a function declaration in which the body of the function is presented. Structure. A function definition includes a return type, a name, a parameter list. That's optional. And a body includes scale parameters. That is an example of it. We have the header file. C++ offers its users a variety of functions, one of which is included header files. In C++, all the header files may or may not end with the .h. Header files in C++ are basically used to declare an interface of a module or any library. Now, header files contains the following: function definition, data type definition with macros. This is an example of header file syntax. Now move on to header files importing. Importing them to program with the help of a preprocessor directive, #include. These preprocessor directives are used to instruct the compiler that these files need to be processed before compilation. The header file types, they have the standard header files or pre-existing header files. So these are standard header files, pre-existing header files examples. These are the examples of the header file, the IOStream, CMAT, string, the setting vector. Now, user-defined files. These are defined by the user and can be imported with using the hashtag include. These are mainly used to what encapsulate our own functions, classes, or declarations so that we can organize our code and we use our code by separating it in different files. Now, writing user-defined header files. You can write your own C++ code and save it with .h extension. Now, you all know how to create a header file. You know creating a header file should not contain ordinary functions definition example E. Aggregate definition example short TBL. That's short table. That is 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Then programs. A program is a collection of separately compiled units combined by a linker. Every function, object type, etc., used in this collection must have a unique definition. Now, the program must contain exactly one function called what main. That example of int main. Then the program component, the main computation performed by the program starts with the invocation of the global function main and ends with a return from main. The return type of main is int. We have the program termination. Program can terminate in several ways: by returning from main, by calling exit, by calling abort and throwing, by throwing an unquote exception, by validating on no except, by calling what quick exit. Thank you. Now we're going to write a simple line of code in what we have learned today. So let's say we want to write, let's say uh, student results with student display result display with namespace and exceptions. Okay, so let us clean this line. Now see, let's say hash include, sorry, string. Okay, after we've included the string. Now let's say name namespace student. Okay, then we open a bracket. All right, void display results. Okay, the open brackets, but int marks. Okay, then let's say right sorry if marks if marks is greater than, let's say, 0. Okay, if marks is greater than 0, so if marks is less than 0, then let's say if marks is greater than 100. Okay, then we open another bracket, then we say sorry true string open a bracket, then we say invalid, we say invalid marks, we say invalid marks, then we end the argument. Okay, then we say, let's say C out, see out marks. See out marks. That will say see out marks. That will say, let's say quotation, say there's the status. Just let's say marks. It's less than equal to, let's say 50. Okay, then we say pass. Say pass. Of your, let's say MLI. Okay, then on another side we bring its main. Then write, let's say try. Let's say student. Display results. So student file, then close. Then we say student display results, let's say negative 10. Then we say catch constant. So catch const strings. Then let's say see out. Error. End line. Then print our code. Okay, let's try to see if our code is not running. Okay, since the business must be some problem here. Trying to find the solution to the problem, to the try and find where